Challenges government's move to extend emergency powers, demanding justification for SOE extension.
Autopsy confirms 12-year-old Mercedes Lane was beaten to death. Activists call for safer transportation systems.
Government insists billions requested in the budget review will honor existing wage commitments, not fresh settlements.
Coming up in sport, the West Indies women come up short against India in their opening T20 World Cup warm-up fixture in Cardiff, Wales.
The tropics are behaving themselves, and for now, Trinidad and Tobago is enjoying some fairly pleasant weather. Just how long will it last? I'll answer that and more in the full forecast.
The National Trade Union Centre is tonight calling on Parliament, civil society, religious bodies and citizens to carefully scrutinise any proposed extension of the state of emergency, demanding that government provide a compelling justification for its continuation.
Now, while a former police commissioner welcomes the extension, one business group says there's one feature needed to make the SOE actually work, and that is a curfew. Jensen Levin has more in this report.
With Parliament set to debate extending the state of emergency on Wednesday, the National Trade Union Centre of Trinidad and Tobago is calling on the government to clearly state why there is a need to extend it. In a media release signed by NATOC's General Secretary Michael Anisette, NATOC says extending the state of emergency raises grave concerns, saying that an SOE must not become normalized. And with 15 no-protest zones, including the Parliament, the President's and Prime Minister's offices, and some government ministries, NATOC says restricting access to these traditional spaces of public expression weakens the foundation of democracy, and calls on the wider public to carefully scrutinize the extension. Meanwhile, President of the Shogunas Chamber of Industry and Commerce welcomes the extension with one added feature.
But with this extension, we need to get surgical. I'm calling for a strict curfew on major crime hotspots, if possible. Don't choke the law-abiding business community. Put the curfew exactly where the trouble is and hit those hotspots hard.
Kiran Singh, president of the Greater San Fernando Area Chamber of Commerce, also welcomes extending the state of emergency. Singh says the government must give an update on threats to the lives of government members and how the SOE impacted gang violence. Former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith also supports extending the SOE, but believes that the Prime Minister was forced to extend it as the current leadership of law enforcement agencies were unable to capitalize on the previous states of emergency. Griffith says the fact that law enforcement is asking for an extension of the SOE is an admission that they have failed. He argues that last year's murder toll was close to 2014's when there was no state of emergency, highlighting that there is a need for greater policing efforts. President of the Police Social and Welfare Association, ASP Ishmael Pitt, tells CNC3 News that the TTPS is working assiduously to address crime, although more can be done.
The state of emergency from our end has yielded a tremendous amount of results. And also, there's still room for improvement, and we must look at how we are able to create these type of strides and even impact areas that the state of emergency will not be able to impact, within a normal period.
He adds that the police officers now have an additional demand under the state of emergency and stress that a healthy work-life balance for officers is important. If the extension is granted, it would mean that the country has been under states of emergency since last July, with a short break in between. CNC3 News reached out to Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar for a comment on the rationale for wanting to extend the state of emergency. However, up to news time, there was no response. Jensen Levin, CNC3 News.
The head of Tobago's Hotel and Tourism Association is warning the island's two members of parliament against supporting an extension of the state of emergency. Reginald McLean has described the government's plan to seek a further 3-month extension as ludicrous, saying the SOE has failed to make any impact on crime levels. McLean claims the SOE has damaged Tobago's already fragile tourism industry and undermined diversification efforts. He says authorities should focus on taking decisive action against both white-collar and street crime instead of continuing the emergency powers. The tourism stakeholder says Tobagonians would hold their parliamentary representatives accountable if they vote in favor of the extension come Wednesday.
Can international travelers get travel insurance to a country that has a state of emergency? I think not. So right away, 80% of your international travelers travel with travel insurance. You've just lost 80%. So where do we stand? We stand on getting the last few travelers that are willing to take the risk and come to our country. So the government needs to understand that, and they need to deal with it decisively.
Former Tobago West MP Shamfa Cudjoe is urging stakeholders not to hold their breath, saying for 14 months the island's representatives have put the UNC's interest above Tobago's.
Tobago West MP Joel Sampson declined to tell CNC3 News whether he supports the extension, but said the SOE seems to be working. Tobago East Representative David Thomas did not respond to our calls or messages up to news time. Well, former National Security Minister Dr. Jack Warner is warning that while a state of emergency may help a country survive a crisis, it cannot become a substitute for normal governance. Warner noted that supporters believe extraordinary crime requires extraordinary action, while critics fear the erosion of civil liberties. But he argued that an SOE sends a deeper message. According to Warner, emergency powers signal that normal governance is no longer enough, warning that while a country may survive under such conditions, it cannot thrive. The former minister also drew parallels with the 1990 attempted coup, describing it as the culmination of years of social frustration, exclusion, and alienation. While stressing that history is not repeating itself, Warner cautioned that societies often drift into crisis by ignoring warning signs. Well, today we asked, do you think government's decision to extend the state of emergency is justified?
This is what you had to tell us.
Well, we shouldn't even have a state of emergency in the first place. So I don't agree with an extension.
I think regarding the extension of the state of emergency, that is a good decision. It's a good decision what the government has done to protect the citizens of the country.
Well, I guess if it helps them with crime, yeah, why not? Why not? But I don't like how it's affecting other people who not doing crime. If it affecting the law-abiding citizens in a negative way,
I don't think it would make a difference. I think what has to be done is to have a plan, a crime plan that will ease the situation, right? Because I don't know, it's not helping.
Safety purpose, I say. You understand? Because things are really going to right. Things are really going to right. You understand? It's very unsafe right now.
Our country was never like this, and it's too dangerous, and it's too heartrending. This is how I feel. Whatever Miss Kamala wants to do, she's the boss right now, after God.
The grieving father of 12-year-old Mercedes Lane says his worst fears have been confirmed after an autopsy revealed she was beaten to death. Tonight, as a suspect remains in police custody, the community of Losiro is demanding justice.
Villagers describe the tragedy as a blow to their sense of safety. Sasha Wilson and Ivan Tulsi visited the community for this report.
As the Losiro Aryan community continues to reel from the brutal killing of 12-year-old Mercedes Lane, a 26-year-old suspect remains in police custody tonight. But for her grieving father, Ronald Cabrera, nothing can erase the pain of losing his daughter.
Could any amount of anything bring back my daughter? He could get 1,000,000 years. Could it bring back my daughter's life? And if he didn't get $1 million and I put my hands on him, would that bring back my daughter? Would it justify anything?
The child's semi-nude body was found in a forested area off Carapal Road on Sunday, a day after she disappeared while on her way to home in a PH taxi. An autopsy at the Forensic Science Center today confirmed what he had suspected. Mercedes was beaten to death.
And I understand 2 wrongs don't make a right. But you took my 12-year-old from me. Right? You plying your route on the road. You're supposed to be trusted.
The father of 6 says they are devastated.
I mean, it's heart-wrenching. It really is heart-wrenching. It just keeps ringing in my head when my little 8-year-old come to me telling me, hugging me up, crying.
The community remains shaken, with villagers describing Mercedes as a shy, quiet child. They say the area is usually safe and peaceful, making the tragedy even more distressing.
This shock, because the last time I heard something like this happen, I probably was a child. With a child from Losro walking on the road, going to school self, never reached the school. Rape and kill the same way, right? So to me, I find that it's unacceptable.
Arlene Ramdale, councillor for the area and president of the Rancho Camado Village Council, says she too relies on PH drivers, just like many residents of the rural community.
We have a lot of PH drivers after the peak hours, and as Mayor said, we have to do something about it. There must be something lawful that could be done in order. We put something in place. So that we keep them in check, so that this would not be a recurrence.
She, along with Siparia Mayor Dudnat Meru, visited the family's home today, pledging to assist the family with funeral arrangements and expressing outrage over the tragedy.
And this is why I say that somebody who have committed an act like this needs to go to the hangman. What could that child at 12 years old do to deserve this?
Now, the Ministry of Education Student Support Services visited St. Francis Aryan IRC School, where Mercedes attended, and met with students and staff. CNC3 understands the school's field trip to Mount St. Benedict's Monastery, scheduled for today, was also cancelled. Meanwhile, the family is finalizing funeral arrangements. Sasha Wilson, CNC3 News.
Activist and president of the Coalition Against Domestic Violence, Roberta Clark, says there is a need for safer transport systems as young lives continue to be lost due to violent acts perpetrated by those entrusted to transport children. Describing the murder of Mercedes Lane as a heinous crime, Clark says the nation is outraged that this continues to happen. She says there are too many gaps in child protection.
Because this happened in the context of insecure public transportation, the life lost Andre Barrett and also Shanti Riley in the last 5 years, and countless others who have lost their lives through criminality. So we say, what must we do now? We have to follow the evidence of what can work, and it will require efforts at the level of families, at the level of communities, the police, but certainly the regulators, and certainly, of course, the school system.
She adds that the criminal justice system must be improved to ensure that child killers are brought to justice swiftly.
Well, still to come in the news.
Coconut vendors in Icacos are sounding the alarm over proposed increases in fines, but the finance minister explains why the move may be necessary.
A pan legend falls silent. Trinidad and Tobago mourns steel pan icon Robert Grenidge.
Coming up in sport, tough defeats for TNT men's and women's rugby teams in friendly international assignments with Mexico. In the ever-changing media landscape, we at Guardian Media strive always to put you, our viewers and readers, first.
We strive to uphold the time-honored tenets of responsible journalism.
For us, accuracy is key.
And in our reporting, we strive not only to be first, but fair,
impartial,
and to uphold journalistic integrity.
Above all, we are accountable to you,
and we must respect the views of our audience. That is our solemn contract with you.
Keen attention to detail.
Rigorous verification of facts. Use of credible sources and sound editorial judgment.
Keep track of our editorial policies and guidelines, including our corrections policy, by logging on to www.guardian.co.tt for more.
Labour Minister Leroy Batiste has clarified that the $2.8 billion being sought by the government in the mid-year budget review is intended to fund salary increases for public sector workers whose unions have already concluded wage negotiations and not for new salary settlements.
There appears to be some confusion in the public over who will be benefiting from that money. The minister and CPO are tonight seeking to offer some clarity.
But as Akash Samaru tells us, questions still remain on when health workers will see a pay increase.
$2.8 billion to pay 62,050 unionized workers. But if your union has not yet finalized its negotiations with the chief personnel officer, then that money is not for you. To ensure there's as little confusion as possible with this matter going into the mid-year review, CNC3 News asked Labour Minister Leroy Batiste to outline which unions do these 62,000 workers belong to, if this money is to cover what has already been agreed to, and if the money is to cover salaries and back pay commitments. The minister said while he would not want to comment on the exact calculations, the money is in respect to arrangements already arrived at and with the goal of meeting those obligations. Asked if this means a 10% agreement signed by the PSA, the NUGFW, and TUTA's 5% agreement, the minister said it appears so, and added that the $2.8 billion has to do with meeting increases resulting from those agreements. The chief personnel officer also offered some clarity. Dr. Daryl Dindial said the money will cover commitments to PSA, TUTA, Defence Force, NUGFW, Amalgamated Workers Union, and the Contractors and General Workers Trade Union. He also gave a brief breakdown of the negotiating periods that money will cover. But there is a notable absence of a group that has been asking about their pay bump since December last year. CNC3 News has been informed that health workers who did not benefit from the last 10% arrangement between the PSA and the CPO were not included in this requested $2.8 billion. CNC3 News asked PSA President Felicia Thomas for an update on those negotiations. Thomas said discussions on the proposed 10% salary increase for regional health authority workers have been completed, with cost estimates for salaries and arrears now submitted to the Health Ministry for review. She said the union expects to receive instructions on settling the salary issue following the government's mid-year budget review, citing comments made by the Prime Minister last Friday. But CNC3 News informed the PSA president that we were told that the money referenced by the Prime Minister will not cover any new or yet-to-be settled negotiations. The PSA president replied that she will seek clarity on the matter. Akash Samaru, CNC3 News.
And economist Professor Roger Hussain is calling on the population to temper their expectations. With the mid-year budget review, government is planning to ask for an additional $3 billion to pay wages and outstanding salaries.
But the economist notes that while the economy is in a slump, consumer spending has not changed. He says with the government in a tough position and unions threatening to protest over prolonged outstanding payments, he's hoping for good sense to prevail.
What I would say to people is that you cannot expect the same standard of living at 2,500 MMCF per day of gas as compared to 2010 when it was 4,300. But next year and in the few years to come, more resources will be coming on board. Temper your expectations, be wise in your expectations, rather than try to shut down the economy and kill the dying beast. Let the beast in the energy sector revive, let the economy revive some more so that your needs could be met. The government would be able to meet them in a more capable way.
With the Prime Minister assuring that more jobs are coming, Professor Hussein calls for more sustainable labour.
He foresees that the country's real long-term bailout lies with the Ministry of Trade and says if its plan to boost non-energy exports by $5 million US over the next 5 years is successful, then he believes TNT will prosper.
In the meantime, he's urging consumers to be wise with their income and ride out the storm. The Communication Workers Union is tonight rejecting comments made by Public Utilities Minister Barry Padarath, accusing him of launching a reckless, inflammatory and unsubstantiated attack on trade unions. Padarath had suggested that trade unions and civil society groups opposing restrictions on protests are motivated by hatred for the UNC, racism and prejudice. But General Secretary Joanne Ogier says the minister's remarks are beneath the office he holds, adding that the union will resist any government's attempt to suppress workers' voices.
In other news, a female SRP who tried to join the regular police service using false CXC certificates has been granted $200,000 bail. WPC Lauren Thomas, last attached to the Northern Division, is charged with forgery and misbehavior in public office. The Professional Standards Bureau launched an investigation after receiving a report that a female officer allegedly submitted a document bundle to the police academy. Subsequent checks found her CXC certificates were false. Thomas was arrested on June 1st. Defense Minister Wayne Sturge has called for stronger collaboration between local police and regional counterparts at the launch of a firearms trafficking workshop this morning. Delivering the feature address, Sturge warned that the region is facing a firearms crisis, highlighting the dangers of gun trafficking. He also outlined the complex nature of the threat.
Criminal enterprises are moving faster, they are coordinating better and exploiting every operational and intelligence gap available to them. Ghost guns, 3D printed guns, encrypted logistic networks. These are not scenarios from a theoretical security briefing paper.
Also attending the launch was the U.S. Embassy Shah d'Affaires Michael Fitzpatrick, who stressed the importance of a strong, coordinated regional security network and the response needed to dismantling organized crime networks.
The Ministry of Finance and the Financial Intelligence Unit have issued an urgent fraud alert over counterfeit IDs being used to deceive citizens and businesses.
Meanwhile, minority shareholders of CIBC Caribbean are demanding answers after S&P downgraded the outlook of Bermuda's Butterfield Bank to negative, 1 week after it unveiled its $1.79 billion U.S. takeover of the Barbados-based bank.
Andrea Perez-Sobas has more in tonight's Business Watch.
The Ministry of Finance and the Financial Intelligence Unit are warning citizens and businesses to be on high alert after uncovering a sophisticated fraud scheme involving counterfeit identification cards bearing the logos of major state institutions. In an urgent public advisory issued on Monday, authorities revealed that individuals have been carrying fake credentials purporting to represent the Financial Intelligence Unit, the Central Bank, and the Financial Investigations Branch of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Investigators say the scammers have been presenting themselves as financial analyst supervisor and using the fabricated credentials to conduct unauthorized inquiries, seek financial information, and potentially facilitate fraudulent transactions. Any sightings of the counterfeit cards or suspicious approaches should be reported without delay to the police service or the central bank. Turning to other business news, fresh concerns are emerging over Butterfield's planned acquisition of CIBC Caribbean after S&P Global Ratings revised the Bermuda Bank's outlook from stable to negative, citing weaker capital levels and integration risk tied to the transaction. Minority shareholder advocate Peter Purmell is now questioning whether investors have been given enough information about the deal.
which is to say an aggregate purchase price of US $1.14, or TT $7.75 per CIBC Caribbean share, comprising 61% in cash and 39% in Butterfield shares in the first instance, with the option to elect to receive up to 100% of their consideration in the said Butterfield shares should they choose to do so.
He argued that the offer price sits below recent market levels.
It is noteworthy that over the past 52 weeks, the stock has been trading between a high of $9 TT and a low of TT $7.76 per share. And as such, given the offer price of $7.75 TT, this translates into a discount of about 45 cents, or around 5.5% to its last trading price of $8.20 at the time of the announcement.
S&P maintained Butterfield's long-term issuer credit rating at BBB+ and its short-term rating at A-2, but warned that the bank's capital position is expected to weaken significantly when the acquisition closes. And now for a look at today's energy and foreign exchange prices. Andrea Perez-Sobers, CNC3 Business Watch.
For generations, coconut oil production has been a way of life for many families in South Trinidad.
But producers and vendors in Icacos are now expressing concern over government's proposal to double the fine for manufacturing copra products without a license.
While they warn the move could hurt small operators and are calling for greater consultation, Finance Minister Devendranath Tanku insists compliant producers have nothing to fear.
Jesse Ramdale and Neil Romain tell us more.
At Trinidad's southwestern tip, a small village moves at its own pace beneath towering coconut trees. In Icacos, coconuts are not just a crop, they're livelihoods, they're traditions, and for many families, the difference between making ends meet and falling behind. Alfred John Williams has been producing coconut oil in the community for over 20 years. He's among several banking on the product to sustain his family. But government's proposed rollout of stiffer penalties for unregistered manufacturing of copra products contained in the 2026 finance bill has placed their livelihoods under threat.
Well, I had to be concerned because I can't really stop it. I'd have to go and get them to go get registered. So, I mean, there must be a way to get it registered.
If the legislation is approved, it'll see the $4,000 fine doubled. Responding to questions from CNC3 News on Monday, Finance Minister Devendranath Tanku stressed that the legislation does not create any new tax, fee or registration requirement. He said while registration requirements and penalties have been in existence for decades to regulate the industry, there are producers operating outside the legal framework exposing consumers to potential risks, noting that those compliant with the law have nothing to fear. According to a female producer, the proposal risks wiping out traditions, culture and entrepreneurship. She says consultation was necessary. 30-year-old Pritam Samaru supplements his income by selling coconut oil among other processed crops. While his business is registered, his heart goes out to those who stand to be affected by the increased fines. In a community where the coconut remains king, vendors and producers say any changes affecting the industry should be made with people who depend on it at the table. Jesse Ramdale, CNC3 News.
Thank you, Jesse. Let's tell you what's still to come in the news tonight. More than 40 San Fernando vendors at Cross Crossing seek legal advice after being told to clear out for 2 weeks.
It's been a mostly quiet day in the weather, but there is just enough reason in the days ahead to keep an umbrella within reach. I'll tell you more after the break.
Hey, man. Where are you? Okay. He said 5 minutes. Anyone want dessert? Maybe he's stuck at the office? Surprise! Not yet, Carl.
Bro. I'm literally at the altar right now.
Relax. I'm almost there.
We're like the friend who isn't always late.
You have the rings.
CG United. Good like that.
Discover your favorite treat with Casey Candy Gummies. Sweet or sour, dive into a wave of fun shapes and flavors. Our halal gummies are made with fruit juices and every bite is packed with fun, chewiness and pure deliciousness. Perfect for an everyday snack. birthday parties, or lunch boxes. Make your snack time irresistible. And enjoy your day with KC Gummies.
At Modern Caribbean Enterprises Limited, we are making this Father's Day extra special. This Father's Day, give Dad a leg massager. Designed to relieve tension, boost circulation, and deliver comfort in minutes. Another great gift is a head and drain massager. Designed to target tension, soothe discomfort, and help him relax whenever he needs it. The massage pillow. Designed to relieve tension, stiffness, and everyday aches from stress and long hours. It gives a deep kneading massage to loosen tight muscles and improve circulation. Special discounts, free giveaways, plus $100 off detox pass sessions. Call 653-0011.
Living with diabetic neuropathy is exhausting. The burning pain and tingling that won't go away? Introducing Myolaxin D Gel, made for pain relief. Fast absorbing, non-greasy, and easy to apply. Its Carbomer gel formula delivers relief deep at the nerve level. Oleoresin capsicum helps reduce pain signals, while diclofenac eases inflammation. Menthol and camphor provide fast, soothing comfort, so the pain eases and comfort returns. Size doesn't matter. This 15-gram tube gives you maximum relief. Myolaxin D Gel, available at pharmacies nationwide.
Looking for the ultimate gaming experience? Welcome to Phase 22 Gaming Lounge, where gamers of all ages come to play, compete, and have fun. Dive into your favorite games on PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, or race on our high-tech racing rigs. And experience the thrill of VR with PlayStation and MetaQuest. Our lounge is safe, comfortable, and perfect for everyone. When you're done, check out the latest gaming systems, accessories, and even Samsung and Apple phones. Visit us on the second floor of Gulf City Mall or call 786-2404 to book your gaming session today.
Steel pan virtuoso Robert Grenidge has died after a prolonged illness. He was 76 years old. Born in Success Village, Laventille, Grenidge began playing pan at the age of 8 years old and rose to become one of Trinidad and Tobago's most celebrated cultural ambassadors. He performed with international stars like John Lennon, Earth, Wind and Fire, and spent 4 decades as a member of the Coral Reef Band. A former arranger and musical director for Desperado Steel Orchestra, Grenidge also led the band to multiple Panorama victories and received the Hummingbird Medal Silver for his contribution to national culture. Pan Trinbago has extended condolences to his family, friends, and the wider steel pan community, saying his music and influence will continue to resonate across panyards and stages around the world.
Time for the weather forecast with Sigoni Mohammed. Sigoni?
All right, guys, so it is about a week into the Atlantic hurricane season, and right now things are relatively quiet for our part of the region. So the Eastern Caribbean, the Eastern Atlantic rather, is quiet, but over into the western side, into early next week or even into the weekend ahead, we could see some development. Remember, at the start of this month, we were talking about breeding grounds or areas where we could see some development for this time of the year in the month of June, and that is likely to happen in the western portion of the Caribbean Sea, pulling into the Gulf. And what we have right now is a bit of moisture moving in from tropical wave activity and even frontal boundaries. So if you notice what's happening here, the areas highlighted in yellow, that's where we could see some increases in moisture into this week and early next week. The green areas on your screen, no chances of any kind of tropical cyclonic development happening there, and Trinidad and Tobago is right in that green area. So we're not expecting any kind of development, and that's due really and truly to some very strong wind shear that's moving well into the region and pushing into our area as well. And this is one of those deterrents for tropical cyclonic development, in addition to Saharan dust, which right now is at bay. We have a very slight or mild concentration of dust at play in the atmosphere, so not a lot to talk about where dust haze is concerned, but we do have some patchy clouds rolling in across the general area. Some of them just really white puffy clouds, others bearing some light light showery activity. Into this evening, we are looking out for mainly clear conditions for those of us in Trinidad. Tobago is still looking out for those patchy clouds rolling across the general area to bring in a gentle breeze and the possibility of an odd shower or two into the midnight forecast. But overall, it's quiet and our temperatures are nice and cool. Into the rest of this week, though, it all changes because look at what's happening here. It's quiet tomorrow as well. Typical weather we're having, sunshine, and then we're seeing a lot of activity developing by midweek with the passage of a tropical wave. So you want to pay attention to what's happening here. Heavy showers will begin to roll into our forecast come Thursday, but then into the weekend, sunshine returns and possibly some Saharan dust haze. In Tobago, it is a similar spell of weather. We have that tropical wave moving in midweek, so an increase in clouds and showers, and then we'll see that sunshine kicking in again with temperatures moving anywhere between 30 and 32 degrees for both of the islands. If you're heading offshore, well, hey, conditions here are moderate. No significant changes from the last few days. Our winds are holding steady from an east to east southeasterly direction, and you'll get those wave heights approaching 1 meter in the nearshore areas and getting up to as high as 2 meters in the open waters. But there's no significant marine weather activity, no spring tide in effect right now, so it's relatively smooth sailing if you do decide to venture offshore across the general area. It's quiet, it's nice, but again, it changes by midweek, yes, so umbrellas on hand, don't leave it at home.
All right, thank you so much, Sigoni. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Discover the taste of tradition with Fine Choice Meats. Our products are made with locally grown chickens, raised on a healthy low-fat diet with no added hormones or steroids. Our commitment to quality guarantees a delicious and nourishing culinary journey. From our farms to your family, choose Fine Choice Meats.
Your immune system is your first line of defense. Discover BioStrath Immune Health. BioStrath Immune Health is enriched with zinc, ensuring that your body stays resilient. BioStrath Immune Health. Get what you need naturally.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung, and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance, but we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, Endeavour, Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
Kickstart your career in IT with the BSc Information Technology from the University of Bedfordshire, delivered at CTS College. The BSc Information Technology equips students for the latest jobs in the IT field. Benefit from online learning environment, dedicated program manager, WhatsApp groups with students and lecturers, shared drive with lecture notes, recordings, assignments, and more. Tutorial support for assignments. Email CTS College on study@ctscollege.com.
Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to Tire Clinic for the recession deals. Big savings with our road hazard warranty on Dunlop, Sumitomo, and Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Cuba, Chaguanas, and Pleasance Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
More than 40 vendors operating at the cross-crossing vending zone in San Fernando have sought legal advice after receiving notice that they will be barred from selling for 2 weeks to facilitate maintenance works in the area.
The vendors met with an attorney today, exploring the possibility of obtaining a cease and desist injunction to prevent the San Fernando City Corporation from removing their carts and temporary structures. The move comes after vendors were invited to a meeting with corporation officials to discuss the issue, only to be told that they were unavailable. The corporation recently issued a notice advising that the entire cross-crossing vending zone would be closed from June 10th to June 24th to facilitate cleaning, line marking, and drainage works near the food strip. However, vendors say the closure would place significant financial pressure on dozens of families. San Fernando Mayor Robert Paris said he will investigate the complaints.
It's now time for us to turn our attention to sport with Jassy. And Jassy, the preparations of TNT's senior men's footballers continue in Russia.
Yeah, it has been 36 years since our last meeting and 44 years since our first. The Soka Warriors will now attempt to put one stroke into the wins column. We'll hear about their feelings ahead of Tuesday's 1 p.m. kickoff. And while neither of those teams will feature in Canada, the USA, and Mexico, our World Cup countdown continues.
Lights up, stadium glow, whole Caribbean ready, feed the show. Flags high, whole place loud, World Cup fever inside the crowd. Brazil fire, Argentina flame, Spain and Portugal run the game. France come strong, Germany rise, every nation under one sky.
Kingston wear them colors high, Port of Spain set the night on fire, trash down chanting side by side.
Whole Caribbean worldwide, raise your flag now. To the sky now, every screen worldwide now, feel the pressure rise now. Feel the rush, live the sport. Feel the rush, live the sport. Feel the rush, live the sport.
At Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center, we're all about time. In fact, once you check in, there's no time to lose. Reconnect with a little family time. Make a splash with some pool time. Spend some treasured quality time. Or just immerse yourself in some quiet time. Indulge your senses at dinner time. We even have the perfect venue when it's your celebration time. So it's high time you visit Cruise Inn. Choose our day pass or call 607-4000 to make your dinner or hotel reservations or to find out more about our event spaces. Take a time out at Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
Plumbing problems? Don't guess. Call Plumbing Solutions at 628-4646. Proud to be serving Trinidad and Tobago for over 20 years. We do it all. Maintenance and repairs, new construction, sewer lines, inspection, drain cleaning, leak detection. We are licensed and insured. So call Plumbing Solutions at 628-4646.
Welcome back. India beat the West Indies by 26 runs on Monday in an ICC T20 Women's World Cup warm-up match in Cardiff. Despite the result, the women in maroon put on a good showing in pursuit of India's total of 179. Here's Ian Wason.
India started with a 55-run stand after they were sent into bat at Cardiff, as Safili Verma and skipper Smriti Vandana took advantage of the Windies bowling over 5 overs. Alia Allen then broke the partnership with Mandana's wicket, Mandana gone for 39. Karishma Ramarak removed the other opener for 29, India 71 for 2. They slipped to 85 for 3 when star batter Jemima Rodriguez was dismissed for just 7. And just when West Indies were finding a way back into the match, Yastiga Bhatia and and Bati Fulmani put together a 60-run partnership. After Batia retired out on 36, Afi Fletcher struck twice in one over, getting Richa Ghosh and Radha Yadav. Fletcher finished with 4 for 23 as India closed on 173 for 8. With a target of 174, West Indies got a good start between openers Deandra Dutton and Shemaine Campbell. They put on 63 with Dutton looking like her old self. Campbell retired on 25 after she hit 4 fours. Then wickets began to tumble, starting with Kiana Joseph for Duck with a score on 75. 6 runs later, Jazara Claxton was caught for 6, and Dutton was painfully dismissed on 49 with a score on 97. A 31-run partnership at the back end of the innings pulled the West Indies out of some quicksand. Janelia Glasgow and Shonisha Hector both scored 19, but the West Indies only reached 153 for 8 from 20 overs to lose by 26 runs. Ian Wason, CNC3 Sport.
Away from the women to the men's team now. Incessant rain in Kingston, Jamaica kept players off the park well beyond the scheduled start of the third ODI between the West Indies and Sri Lanka today. In fact, no play was at all possible, with the match being abandoned at around 6 p.m. TNT time. That eventuality gives Sri Lanka a 1-0 series win, their first win in the Caribbean since 2003, after victory in Game 1, while Game 2 was also washed out. Meanwhile, selectors have since named the West Indies T20 team for the next leg of the tour. The 15-member roster for the 3-match series has room for the likes of young talents Jewel Andrew and Akeem Ogist. Alzari Joseph, however, is rested due to workload management. All 3 matches are also at Sabina Park, Jamaica from June 11th to the 14th. TNT's senior men's rugby team put in an improved performance from when they met a year ago, but still fell to Mexico in their Rugby America's North encounter on the weekend. Leading at one stage, TNT eventually surrendered 24-17 on a rainy Saturday afternoon at the Larry Gomes Stadium. The first half at the Larry Gomes Stadium in Arima had taken its toll on both sets of players, but Trinidad and Tobago held a 10-0 lead courtesy of an early try by debutant Liam Cabrales and a conversion by another TNT debutant Nathan Achim, who also scored a penalty. Already facing that deficit, the opening of the heavens made life even more difficult for Mexico, with a slippery rock adding to their troubles. Eventually, they adapted to the slick conditions and flirted with the opposition's try line here before fly half Mateo Lopez eventually smuggled it over the border to cut Mexico's deficit in half. Not long after that, honors were even when Ricardo Navarro forced his way past TNT's defense. That leveled the scores at 10 each, with time still left in the first half for Mexico to score another try, plus tack on one more 2-point conversion for a 17-10 lead at the break. An even greater deluge greeted the players for the start of the second half, but the conditions seemed to favor the Mexicans now, who threatened on the odd occasion, testing various pressure points along Trinidad and Tobago's defensive barrier in search of a weak spot. The principle of going back to come forward was eventually the tactic which worked best to deliver the telling blow, as Luke Alexandre was too powerful for TNT's defense. Lopez, with the successful conversion, made it 24-10 to the tricolor. That was the last scoring action of the match. It had to be called off due to poor visibility. Well, TNT's women's rugby team was also on the losing side against Mexico on the weekend. Playing away from home in Mexico City, they produced a spirited performance, but ultimately bowed 27-17 to the host team. Fiola Jack scored 2 tries, Alyssa Fields scored 1, and Angel Jostling made 1 conversion in the effort. Trinidad and Tobago's 21-man squad and its coaching staff are in the final hours of their pre-match preparations ahead of tomorrow's 1 p.m. international friendly kickoff against Russia in West Russia. One of head coach Derek King's recent callbacks, Michel Punanjaran, is in line for his 21st cap and primed to prove his usefulness, having missed the entirety of TNT's World Cup 2026 qualifying campaign.
From the outside looking in, you always want to be a part of it, but you have to use that as motivation, you know. You have to use that as, every setback is an opportunity to really reflect on your game and what can I improve on so that I could be there the next time around.
Head coach King says the match will gauge the team's progress ahead of the start of their competitive calendar in September, and is especially eager to try to suppress Russia's physical qualities.
we analyze the Russian team, you know, in the last few games that they played. I think, you know, the players overall, you know, they have a really strong team, you know, going forward. Is a very physical team as well. Team on set base, they are very strong, but I think, you know, with our analyzing team and, you know, the staff assess the game, I think, you know, once we stay disciplined defensively, I think, you know, we will come out with a positive result.
Well, the Grenidge community came out in numbers over the weekend to support one of their own footballing standouts. Caston Cupid has the details in this report.
I want to thank everybody that coming out here and supporting me tonight.
Overwhelmed by emotions, former Trinidad and Tobago and Defence Force footballer Dean Pacheco gave a heartfelt thank you to all who came out in support of his fundraiser aimed at offsetting medical costs. The 53-year-old Pacheco, who scored 5 goals in his 5 international caps for Trinidad and Tobago in the early 90s, is suffering from a cluster of illnesses and is in need of urgent assistance. The day featured 3 exhibition matches as ex-national players, former Pro League and SSFL greats, and the Grenidge community all came out and supported togetherness and football.
We started this group that's called Grenidge Caregivers Foundation, where we want to focus on achievers in the community that need help. We realize that it has always been an issue when someone gets ill, they don't have enough finances, so we are trying to pull the resources together. This is our first initiative with Dean Pacheco, and we hope to carry it on.
Organizers also took the opportunity to honor Richard Theodore, Calvin Bradley, both deceased, former Trinidad and Tobago international and head coach Angus Eve, and Dean Pacheco, the 4 members of the community on the pioneering national under-20 team that made it to this country's first FIFA Under-20 World Cup with appearances at Portugal in 1991. Caston Cupid, CNC3 Sport.
Well, 3 is the magic number tonight, and just as many days remain before the World Cup dominates the global news cycle.
The concept of Chrome is quite familiar with gamers obsessed with EA Sports' FIFA franchise. However, in the beautiful game, there's no passing the control. You're stuck in that rectangle for 90 minutes and more. Instead, if you have the grit and more than a little cojones, it could be the platform for the most famous comeback in your country's history. 2 teams share the record for the biggest comebacks in a World Cup finals, down 3-0 after 20 minutes in the 1954 edition's quarter-final stage against host Switzerland. Austria ended up on the better side of 12 goals in the Battle of Lausanne, winning 7-5 in the highest scoring match in the tournament's 96-year history to date. Besieged by North Korea after just 25 minutes at the same stage of the 1966 tournament in England, Portugal's Black Panther, Eusebio, put on a clinic of centre-forward play in an 8-goal thriller at Goodison Park, scoring a beaver trick in a 5-3 comeback victory. And speaking of sublime goal scorers, we couldn't leave you without a special World Cup moment from France 98, made even better by Dutch commentator Jack van der Gelder.
Frank de Boer speelt de bal. Heel goed naar Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp neemt de bal aan. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp.
That's one past World Cup star, now one World Cup star in the making, claims tonight's Sport High.
France Michael Olise sent a clear signal that he's ready for the World Cup. Olise scored not once, not twice, but 3 times in the Blurs' 3-1 win over Northern Ireland. Yes, he saved the best for last. So Mr. Olise for that hat-trick.
3 days and counting until kickoff in Canada, Mexico, and the USA.
And good luck to our boys tomorrow.
Of course.
Thank you so much, Jassy. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
The moment my children came into my life, I do everything I can for them to live healthy, enjoyable lives. Nature's Ways Alive Kids Gummies are multivitamin gummies meant to support the development of children's bodies. They come in delicious fruit flavors and contain natural plant-based pectin. This means that if I'm looking for an alternative to animal-based gelatin for personal reasons, they are the best choice for my little ones. Choose Alive Kids Gummies by Nature's Way for your children because they deserve it.
Win one of 100 shopping sprees. Super Mom, Super Dad, Super Wins sweepstakes is here at Passad's the Food King and Bright Ideas. This is your chance to shop, enter, and win weekly. Here's how you can win. Every time you spend $300, you get an entry form for your chance to win one of 100 shopping sprees. Plus, every Saturday during our live draws, you can shop, spin, and win instantly at any Passad's the Food King. Hurry! Promotion ends June 24th and is NLCB approved.
Quality value, that's our way. The real Bushlights, we're here to stay. The Food King Bushlights.
Here's a look at tonight's regional roundup.
Former employees of Starbrook newspaper in Guyana say they will launch a new digital news entity called Kiskadi Watch. The former editor-in-chief Anand Prasad says on Sunday, June 14th, the new platform will be launched and will include former journalists from the Starbrook newspaper. Starbrook News was shut down on March 15th, citing growing impact of digital platforms, a shift in advertising revenue, and changing market conditions. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is set to visit Haiti next week to show solidarity with victims of gang violence. According to officials, Guterres will meet men, women, and children whose lives have been affected by violence. The Bahamas government is urging its citizens to avoid all non-essential travel to Cuba, saying the country continues to experience challenges affecting electricity supply, fuel availability, transportation, and access to basic goods and services. Cuba has come under severe problems in recent months after the United States imposed a further oil embargo on the island.
Now, a cup of coffee may serve as inspiration for many, but one man is inspiring coffee lovers.
Stationed at a popular coffee house in Trin City, Malcolm Charles has transformed a part of the cafe into an art space, which patrons say motivates them.
Here's more in this story.
Malcolm, chai frappuccino.
Most people come here for coffee. Some even make it their workspace. But Malcolm Charles has transformed it into a sort of workshop.
This is like my second home. I call this my office. I got a lot of space. My apartment, it's kind of white. White counter tops, white tile floor, white cupboards. So working with charcoal, I'd be a lot of cleanup. I just like the atmosphere here.
Originally from Chaguanas, Charles moved to Canada when he was just 8 years old. Now a chef by profession, he has returned to his Trini roots. But he says one thing never changed, his calling for art.
Some people are born with being good at math, but being good at art. So as far as I can remember, I just started drawing comics, and then I kept drawing and got a bit better and better.
With no formal training, Charles says he taught himself everything he knows, even his latest art form.
But I was kind of scared to use charcoal because I follow a lot of artists online, and I kind of I watched them wow, how do you do that? And I kept watching them. Then I went on YouTube, just started learning how to do tutorials.
To some, it might look simple, but Charles puts a lot of detail into his work. He says one piece can take at least 30 hours, sometimes even up to 100, depending on the details. But he looks forward to the grind every day.
I made a lot of connections here, actually. It's a good marketing tool for me.
At first, when I saw him, I didn't realize what he was doing. I saw his stuff laid out, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It's really nice.
It is inspiring and motivating in a way too, because while everybody will be behind laptops and then you can't really see what they're working on, so you wouldn't know. But when you see his work, you know, again, a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment, patience.
It's my first time seeing his artwork, and it caught my attention, so I went across and spoke to him for a little bit.
And that's exactly what he was going for, starting a conversation and engaging young minds.
I'm trying to get artists that I've been in contact with to form like a little conglomerate and maybe do workshops, maybe help out schools with kids that want to do art or offer a program where they can come after school.
For now, Charles continues to tell stories one sketch at a time. And for those who stop by, well, there's always the chance of becoming the next portrait on the page. Liana Maharaj, CNC3 News.
Beautiful portrait of our reporter there, Liana.
Yeah, and such a lovely place. I love the actual environment and the atmosphere the art brings.
Yeah.
What a way to start a conversation, you know, is all the genesis of it all. And certainly, maybe one day I'll walk in there and have the time to have my sketch drawn as well.
Coffee and art, two of my favorite things. Sigoni?
I'm good with watercolors, so yeah, I'll just leave it right there.
All right, that's how we end the 7 p.m. news here this evening. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ria Rambley.
I'm Ryan Beachu.
I am Jassi Marique.
And I'm Sigoni Mohammed. Have a good night.
You're watching CNC3.